Good morning, guys. I hope you guys are doing so good this morning. I want to thank you guys, those of you who joined us last night for our live stream, and those of you who maybe haven't watched it yet, but you're going to. I highly encourage you guys to watch it. Um, I think you'll enjoy it. Some announcements, real quick, before we get into our devotion. Real quick, remember to sign up for the ski trip, for the ski retreat in March, and sign up for our youth praise team, and then also, it is looking like we will be opening up for in-person youth Wednesday nights on Wednesday, September 9th. There will be more details that will follow, so keep your eyes out on Instagram and Facebook and on the YouTube channel for more information for that. So, I hope you guys are excited about that. With all of that being said, let's get into this morning's devotion. We're going to be in Galatians chapter 1, or not chapter 1. We're going to be in Galatians chapter 4, verses 1 through 7. This is what Paul writes to the church in Galatia. I mean that the heir, as long as he is a child, is no different from a slave, though he is the owner of everything. But he is under guardians and managers until the date set by his father. In the same way, we also, when we were children, were enslaved to the elementary principles of the world. But when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. And because you are sons, God has sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying, Abba, Father. So you are no longer a slave, but a son. And if a son, then an heir through God. Now this is awesome stuff. There's a lot of stuff that happens in these 7 verses, okay? First, Paul makes a comparison of slaves versus sons, the differences that is seen in these two people. A slave is bound to what his master wills, and while the son still has to obey his father, like he's saying that there's not a lot of difference between a slave and a child, because even though the son or the daughter is owner of everything, he still has people that watch over him and mentor him and teach him and guide him and kind of lead him, and that he is in submission of authority to. And so he makes this comparison, and he says, in the same way, we also, when we were children, were enslaved to the elementary principles of the world. This idea of the elementary principles is the same idea of like the elemental spirits. This is a phrase that Paul used whenever he was describing the things of the world, the secular things. And so he says, there was a point in time where when we were children, all we could do was what the world wanted us to do. And we were enslaved to that. We were trapped in that. And then in verse 4 comes the hope. But when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. We are no longer prisoners to our sin. We are no longer trapped in our sin. We are no longer slaves to our sin. We have become sons of God. We have become sons and daughters of the living God, and we are now co-heirs with Christ. And because we are sons and daughters, God has sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying, Abba, Father. We no longer have to be ashamed of our sin and try to hide it from God. We can go to God directly and ask for forgiveness, and he will show us this love and grace and kindness and mercy that a father shows his children. And then verse 7 ends with, so you are no longer a slave, but a son. And if a son, then an heir through God. You are no longer a slave. And so if you're watching this morning, whether you're a Christian or not, I want to encourage you. As a Christian, first I want to encourage you that you are a son or daughter of the living God. And as a son or daughter, you are an heir. If you aren't a Christian, then I want to encourage you that you can find adoption into being a son or daughter of God. Thank you guys so much for watching this morning. I hope you guys have a great day today at school, and I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same station.